All right, welcome in everyone for this deep dive. We're going to be tackling, I think for you, especially another PCS move, how to prepare your family for that new community. This is number 3 in our MilSpouses Moving Houses series.
Oh, wow.
All presented by MustWants. And, it's April, the month of the military child, so very relevant to our topic today. Of course, you're probably no stranger to moving if you're listening to this, but what we really want to do is dig deep today into how to make that new community feel like, I don't know, like less of a starting over and more like a really cool next chapter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That makes sense. I think it's true that moving is just part of that military family journey.
Yeah.
And you've probably developed some amazing resilience, honestly.
Right.
But every new place, has its own little quirks and adjustments that you have to make.
For sure.
Especially with a family, right?
Yeah.
So what we want to do is really kind of focus on some actionable strategies, to help you and your family feel really connected and at home in your new place, like as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And we're drawing a lot from the MustWants blog. So shout out to MustWants for having some great tips on there.
Yeah. The MustWants blog is really the springboard for all of our conversation today. So if we say something that really resonates with you, go check out MustWants.com. They've got a lot of this information in more detail there. So let's just jump right in. I think, sometimes that feeling of stepping into the unknown can be a bit much.
It can be.
Right. A bit overwhelming. But here's the thing that I've always admired about military families, and it's something that MustWants touches on in the blog, is you all have this, adaptability muscle.
Yeah.
It's really kind of incredible.
It's like a superpower.
It is. It's a superpower that you all have developed through these experiences. And so instead of really dwelling on what you're leaving behind, the blog really encourages us to focus on the possibilities.
Absolutely.
Okay, new schools. Maybe the schools have different programs than what your kids are used to, or, what you're used to. Maybe a chance to explore a whole different part of the country or the world even, that's always exciting to me.
Totally.
And just, new friendships waiting to blossom.
Right.
That can be really exciting too.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, that is the key, right? It's about shifting that perspective. And so one really concrete step you can take, even before you get there, is to start exploring online.
Right.
Your new community. And MustWants actually has a ton of information that's available.
Oh, for sure.
Think about looking into the schools.
Yeah.
Right? What kind of special programs do they have? Are there, really awesome arts programs or STEM programs or things like that your kids might be into? What about extracurriculars? Like, are there sports? Are there clubs?
Right.
What's available there? And you can even kind of get a sense of the neighborhood, right? How safe is it? Is it walkable to stores or coffee shops or whatever?
Right. All those things that you want to know.
And they actually even have FEMA data on there, so you
Right.
can see what the risks of natural disasters are.
That's really interesting. Wow. Okay.
So, it's about kind of arming yourself with knowledge, and those first steps in your new place, maybe won't feel quite so overwhelming.
Totally. And speaking of first steps, the MustWants blog has some really, really fantastic practical tips to just make the whole transition smoother.
Yeah.
And one that really stood out to me was this idea of keeping a moving journal.
Oh, interesting.
But it's not for you. Okay, it's not for you to keep track of packing lists and stuff. It's for your kids.
Okay.
It's for your kids to process their feelings about the move.
Got it.
So instead of them just saying oh, I'm sad to leave my friends, actually having them write it down can be a really healthy outlet.
Right.
Yeah,
it gives them a tangible way to kind of get those emotions out.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
And building on that theme of connection, another tip that they have in the blog is to really actively engage with online communities that are focused on your new area.
Oh,
so think Facebook groups, local Facebook groups, maybe neighborhood associations, or even military spouse groups that are specific for that base or region.
So smart.
Because you can start to get a feel for what's going on. You can ask questions. You can even start forging some of those virtual connections.
Right.
before you arrive, which can really, really help with that feeling of isolation when you get there.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And then the third tip that, we all kind of know is crucial, but it's easily overlooked in all the chaos, is planning for moving day itself.
Right. Yeah.
Just the more you can involve the whole family in the preparations, even in small ways, like labeling boxes or packing their own special items, the smoother that day will likely go. It gives everyone a sense of ownership and can minimize some of the stress.
So true. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so now let's think about like what happens before you even see those moving trucks. MustWants, they really emphasize the power of pre-arrival preparation.
Okay.
Just for a more efficient and honestly less stressful move.
Right.
And a really critical piece of that puzzle is getting all your important documents organized.
Yes, that's huge.
Right, like your medical records, school transcripts, all that financial paperwork.
Yeah.
Having these really accessible, maybe in like a clearly labeled portable file organizer
Very smart.
can just, save you so much time and anxiety later on.
Yeah, totally.
Right. So MustWants, very helpfully, has laid out this pre-move checklist.
Okay, great.
So first up, researching housing options. And this is where the MustWants mobile app comes into play. It connects you with real estate professionals who really understand like the unique needs of military families. Plus, it gives you insights into nearby amenities and different neighborhoods. So it's kind of like having this dedicated guide, to help you find the right fit for your family.
And that's what's interesting about MustWants is that it's really designed with the military lifestyle in mind.
Right.
They also highlight in their checklist budgeting and financial planning, which is, we all know, a huge part of PCSing. And they even have checklists, apparently, that can help you navigate all those reimbursable moving expenses.
Oh, wow.
So, having that kind of targeted information is just invaluable for military families.
Absolutely essential. And then the last kind of key point on that pre-move checklist is planning your essentials box.
Oh, yeah.
This is a game changer.
Okay.
Think about those first 24, 48 hours in your new home. You want toiletries, a change of clothes, any medications you take, and just comforting personal items, Having all that in one box, you don't have to go digging through a million boxes.
Totally.
Makes a huge difference in how you feel when you arrive.
That's so true. Yeah.
So you've arrived.
Okay.
You're in your new community. Now the focus kind of shifts to settling in and making it feel like home. And the blog, they stress the importance of actively engaging with your new surroundings. So it's not just about unpacking boxes.
Okay.
It's about getting out there and exploring local resources, checking out the schools, finding social groups that, are a good fit for your family's interests.
Totally.
And what's great? MustWants can still be a really helpful tool during this phase. Within your account, you can actually find tools and maps to locate family-friendly spots, social groups, other community resources.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's kind of like having this virtual welcome wagon right there on your phone.
It really is all about building those connections, right? And the blog has some really tried and true suggestions for that. Visiting local parks and community centers is a great place to start. It gives your kids a chance to meet other kids.
Yes.
And your chance to meet other adults.
Exactly.
And don't underestimate the power of local Facebook groups.
Oh, yeah.
So many military families create these online communities where they can, share information and offer support and maybe even, organize some local get-togethers.
So it's a great way to kind of tap into that existing network.
Totally.
And then, keep an eye on the local events calendar.
Yeah.
Look for community fairs, festivals, school open houses, really anything that kind of provides that, low pressure environment to mingle and get a sense of the local culture.
Yeah. Those are all really good tips. And let's not forget about the kids. We know that these transitions can be sometimes the hardest on them.
Yeah, that's true.
And so the blog really wisely advises acknowledging their feelings, and reassuring them that it's totally normal to feel a little bit nervous about starting fresh.
Of course.
And then involving them in the moving process, even in small, age-appropriate ways, can really help them feel that sense of control and excitement,
Right. And that sense of agency is so important for kids.
Absolutely.
And, the blog actually offers some really specific tips
for supporting your kids during this time. One great idea is to encourage them to connect with potential new friends online
Oh,
before you move,
okay.
maybe through video chats or social media if that's appropriate and safe.
Right.
And if it's possible, arrange a visit to their new school before they officially start,
I love that.
just to kind of, ease those first day jitters.
Yeah.
Just seeing the building, maybe meeting a teacher or two,
Mm-hmm.
can make the unknown feel a little bit less scary.
Totally. And here's a really lovely idea from the blog is creating a family adventure book.
Oh, cool.
Encourage everyone to document the move and those initial new experiences with, photos or drawings or little notes. And it
Oh,
becomes like a cherished keepsake and a visual reminder of their resilience and the start of a new chapter.
I love that.
So, it's all about framing it as an exciting adventure. Right. Now, for a little bit of context, if you happen to catch our last deep dive, Preparation for Your Next PCS Move, a guide for military families, we took a broad look at the whole PCS process. We talked about using the MustWants platform for organizing, researching, packing, all that stuff. And this deep dive has really zoomed in on that final piece, which is like actively integrating into your new community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, it bears repeating that MustWants was created by and for military families
Yeah.
to simplify what is often a really stressful experience, right?
Right.
Finding a new home, navigating all the aspects of a PCS. Um, and they're really committed to transparency,
Mm-hmm.
which is really important.
Mm-hmm.
And they prioritize user privacy. Your data is never sold, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And, they have some really amazing features like a network of vetted real estate agents and connections to trusted lenders. And they have these collaborative tools where you can actually rank potential homes,
Oh, wow.
which sounds really helpful when you're trying to make decisions as a family.
Yeah.
And then those layered data maps, which really give you like a feel for the neighborhood.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's really incredible, all the things that they have. And they're all, they're designed with you in mind.
Absolutely. So, bringing it all together, I think the core message here is that each PCS move, while challenging, is also this chance for new experiences and a strengthening of your family bond.
It's true.
And MustWants is there to provide support and resources throughout that whole journey.
Absolutely. And to you, the listener, we really hope that these insights kind of empower you to embrace this opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
to build a fulfilling life in your new community. You have so much experience. You have this amazing adaptability. And there are tools like MustWants that are designed to help you every step of the way.
Absolutely. Here's a final thought for you. What is one small intentional step you can take today to begin preparing your family for connection in your new community?
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
And thank you, our listener, for spending this time with us. For more practical tips, helpful tools, and to connect with those vetted professionals who understand the military lifestyle and can help you with your move, please visit MustWants.com or download the MustWants app. This MilSpouses Moving Houses series is presented by MustWants.